How's your day going, friends? Hopefully, your day is going great. My name is FELI RAMASARI, and I come from the 4th grade Telecommunication Engineering Polytechnic Padang. And now I want to explain and describe about Toeic test. I make it to fulfill my midterm test assignment in English subject. Hopefully, it can help. I divide this presentation into 3 sections. First, explain about the TOEIC test in generally. Second, preparing to take the TOEIC test. And the last is talking about the TOEIC scores. So, let's jump right in. I hear about the TOEIC test when I entered Polytechnic Negeri Padang. I just know that TOEIC test is an English test like TOEFL and IELTS. In PNP, new students have to do TOEIC test, and there are some questions in my mind, such as what is the format of the TOEIC test? Who takes the TOEIC test? Why take the TOEIC test? Where can I take the TOEIC test? Are the questions with also on your mind? Nah, the next slide will answer your question. Generally, the TOEIC, or Test of English for International Communication Test, is an English language proficiency test for people whose native language is not English. It measures the everyday English skills of people working in an international environment. The scores indicate how people can communicate in English with others in business, commerce, and industry. The test does not require specialized knowledge or vocabulary beyond that a person who uses English in everyday work activities. Next, what is the format of the TOEIC test? The TOEIC test is 2-hour multiple choice test that consists of 200 questions divided into 2 sections: listening comprehension section and reading section. For listening comprehension section, the test will show how well you understand spoken English. There are 4 types of question and there are 100 listening comprehension questions administered by audio cassette. You will listen to a variety of statements, questions, short conversations, and short talks recorded in English. Then you will answer the question. Total time is approximately 45 minutes. And for reading section, the test will show how well you understand written English. There are 100 reading questions consisting of 3 types of questions. You will read a variety of materials and respond at your own pace to questions based on the content of the materials. And the total time is 75 minutes. Okay, the next slide is more specific than before. Okay, I will explain about the listening section. The first part is photographs. There are 6 questions. As a name, you will see a picture in your textbook and you will hear 4 short statements. Then choose the suitable answer based on the picture. Second, questions response part. That consists 25 questions. You will hear a questions or a statement spoken in English, followed by 3 responses, also spoken in English. Then choose the best response to each question or statement. Then, conversation part. You will hear short conversation between 2 people. In your textbook, you will read equations about each conversation and choose the best answer to each question based on the conversation. There are 13 conversations with 3 questions each. So, the total questions is 39 questions. Lastly, talks part. You will hear several short talks. You will read 2 or more questions about each short talk. The questions will be followed by 4 answers. You are to choose the best answer to each question. There are 10 talks with 3 questions each. So, the total question is 30 questions. Let's moving to the reading section. There are 4 parts too, such as incomplete sentence, text completion, single passages, and multiple passages. For incomplete sentence, you have to fill the blank sentence with the right word. And in the other hand, text completion is to fill the blank text with the suitable or matched word. For the single passages and multiple passages, you have to read a reading text and answer the questions in your textbook. But single passage is more short than the multiple passages. Let's jump to the next question. Who takes the Toeic test? First, personnel who use English in real-life work settings, such as businesses, hotels, hospitals, restaurants, international meetings, conventions, and sport events. Second, international industrial environment that use English as the basic language, such as managerial, sales, and technical employees in international business, commerce, and industry who require English for their work. Then government agencies who have to speak English language to communicate with the other for regulation. Then academic institutions that make the Toeic test become one of their regulations. Next, individuals who are preparing to enter workplace, and the last, candidates training to be conducted in English or individuals in English language and training programs. Why take the Toeic test? As you can see in your screen, first, involve employees in advancing their employees' English ability, qualify for a new position and or promotion in a company, enhance professionals' credentials, verify current English proficiency levels, monitor progress in English, and set individual learning goals. Where can I take the Toeic test? And I will explain it. The Toeic test is available throughout the world. Testing can be arranged through corporations or organizations that ask employees or job applicants to take the Toeic test. In addition, many language training programs and schools offer Toeic testing. If testing is not available through a particular organization, contact the local ETS preferred associate to find out when and where to take the test. Let's start to the next section, preparing to take the Toeic test. First part is photograph. In order to do well on the true or false section, practice quickly coming up with as many true English sentences in your head about a given photograph as you can. Why? In the first part of the Toeic listening section, you will see a series of photographs and then listen to 4 sentences. You have to choose the sentences that best and most truthfully describe the picture. Let's take a look for the tips. First, look at the picture completely and find out what's happening. Then, create and imagine many true English sentences about picture. Let's realize that sentences were either incorrect or correct. You can imagine and think to yourself who, what, where, and why before the recording starts. Look at the photos and make as many sentences as you can in your head about what is happening in the photo. When the recording starts, decide if each sentence you hear is false, maybe true or not. You might find that writing an X question mark and check mark on the page with your fingers help you remember each one. Even you are sure that one answer is the correct, listen to the other answers to make sure and check your answer again. And there are several warnings about the photographs. First, words that sound similar but are different. Then, the right word used the wrong way or in a confusing manner. Then, answers that are only partially true. Last, word related to but not actually in the picture. Dengan kata lain, ada beberapa kalimat atau kata yang terdengar serupa pengucapannya tapi memiliki makna yang berbeda dan tidak sesuai dengan penjelasan dari fotografernya. Make sure you're doing well. You must do practice in hearing, listening, and pronunciation about the words that sound similar, and then you must to be careful to choose the answer. Okay, let's take a look for first example. Direction. For each question, you will see a picture in your textbook and you will hear 4 short statements. The statements will be spoken just one time. They will not be printed in your textbooks, so you must listen carefully to understand what the speaker says. So, let's hear what the speakers talk about the picture.
A. The boy is getting wet, jumping in puddles. B. There are hailstones on the ground. C. There is mud everywhere. D. The boy is playing with friends.
Okay, the right answer is the boy is getting wet, jumping in the puddles. Why B, C, and D is wrong? Because B, there are hailstones on the ground. We cannot see any single of stone in the ground. And C, there is mud everywhere. But that is not mud, but puddles. Then D, the boy is playing with friends. As you can see, he just play by himself, only himself, not with his friends. Go to the next example. First, you must imagine and create a sentence about the picture you have looked, because it will help you to choose the right answer after hearing the cassette or the voice record. Let's hear the recorder.
A. Men in work clothes are standing behind some trucks. B. A man is managing the crane. C. The trucks are moving on the highway. D. The ship is bringing containers.
The right answer is A. The men in work clothes are standing behind some trucks. B, C, and D is wrong because B, a man is managing the crane. But we can see there are 2 persons in that picture and there is no action that manage the crane? And the answer C. The trucks are moving on the highway. We can see that the truck is not moving and that is not in the highway on the highway. And for the answer D, the ship is bringing containers. Yes, there are many containers, but there is no ship that bringing containers. That's the wrong. Next to the question response part. My tips are: imagine the correct answer before hearing the options. Then pay attention to WH question and keep in your mind. Then consider that question is WX questions or yes or no questions. This part of the Toeic listening section is made up of 30 different questions. You will be asked a question about almost anything and you will need to choose the best answer from the 3 options. The Toeic listening is only heard once and it can be rather fast in some places. And please pay attention for warning question response part. First, words that sound similar but have different meanings. Second, WH questions: who, what, when, where, why, and what. Because that is the first clue to answer the listening section question and response. If the question is where, and you will imagine that the answer is the place. That is the first clue. Keep in mind the question as you listen to the possible answer. Choose the answer that makes the most sense. Even though, just guess. You don't lose any points for a wrong answer, right? And the last, yes or no question that may not have yes or no answers. Okay, let's take a look for the example of question response part. Direction. In this part of the test, you will hear a question or statement spoken in English, followed by 3 responses, also spoken in English. The question or statement and the responses will be spoken just one time. They will not be printed in your textbook, so you must listen carefully to understand what the speakers say. You are to choose the best response to each question or statement. Let's hear the question.
How long is the warranty on your computer?
A. It is 3 feet long. B. It is for 2 years. C. It is an Apple computer.
Do you have the new Canon copier?
A. We will be getting one next Monday. B. The copier is broken. C. No, the store is closed.
Why did you leave your last job?
A. I had a headache. B. I was not challenged enough. C. I was a technician.
The answer of the number 1 is B. It is for 2 years. The clue is how long. WH question. Remember and keep in your mind how long. How long. The answer, it must be, it is for 2 years. Maybe you will doubt to answer 3 feet long because it's too quite similar, but it is the wrong answer or wrong meaning that cannot match with the question. Just for the second question, the answer is we will be getting more next Monday. If you think question of do you have is I do or I don't have, it is wrong because let's see to my third warning. Yes or no question that may not have yes or no yes or no answer. So let's match with the statement of the questions. And for the third question, the answer is I was not challenged. Maybe it will talk with you because there is a similar pronunciation or some sounds like headache with headache. Membencinya dengan sakit kepala. That will be different. So make sure you will practice well. The third part of the task is a little longer and you might feel a little tired when you get to this part of the exam. But here you will need to focus and pay attention because you will want to actively listen to the answer to the questions as the recording is playing. For the conversations part, my tips are: first, look at the questions before listening to the dialogue. Second, remember the answer that possibly match with the questions. Then, stay focused and actively listen to the detail. And my warning are: first, similar sounding words and inaccurate words again, because there are so many similar sounding words and you will be trapped in that circle again. Second, word that change the meaning. The negative word like hardly, not, it will change the meaning of the sentence, that it will the second trap with the questions. Then the last word associated with frequency like always, never, sometimes, ever, because it will be your direction or your first clue for the answers to questions. Let's jump to the example of conversations part. Direction. In this part of the test, you will hear a short conversation between two people. The conversation will not be printed in your textbook. You will hear the conversations only once. So you must listen carefully to understand what the speakers say. In your textbook, you will read a question about each conversation. The question will be followed by 4 answers. You are to choose the best answer to each question and mark it on your answer sheet. Let's hear the question.
Hi, Tina. Good to see you. I brought a fruit salad.
Thanks, Jim. That was very thoughtful. Did you make it yourself?
Yeah, but it's nothing fancy. I didn't have time. I just cut up some melon, banana, and grapes and threw them together into a bowl.
No need to apologize. I'm sure the guests will love it. It will be a great side dish for the steak I'm grilling. Why don't you put it on the table next to the salads and chips?
The answer of the first question is a salad. Maybe you will not focus to this question because you will hear some food and meals in one time, like fruit salads, melon, banana, grapes, cheese that break your focus to see the right answer or hear the right answer, but stay focused to answer it. And the answer of the second question is she appreciated his kindness. That it will be fun when she said, "No need to apologize, I'm sure the guests will love it." But you will drop with answer D because she said apologize too. She deserves an apology, but it's wrong is wrong, meaning that that is because the false answer. And for the third question is grilling stick. Maybe in the conversation she said it's too fast, but you must pay attention and stay focused during the test. And make sure you catch the detail about the conversations. Let's move to the talks part. My tips are: first, try to read the question beforehand and find the keyword. Then pay attention to the context. Stay focused and actively listen to the detail. Focus for the detail, right? Then, my warning is don't miss out on information for the next question while you are trying to figure out the previous one. Remember about the each of question that you have read in the textbooks. And let's take a look for the example. Direction. In this part of the test, you will hear several short talks. Each will be spoken just one time. They will not be printed in your textbook, so you must listen carefully to understand and remember what is said. In your textbook, you will read 2 or more questions about each short talk. The questions will be followed by 4 answers. You are to choose the best answer to each question and mark it on your answer sheet.
Brad Thompson, this is Marco Hernandez. We met last week at the high-tech conference in Boston. Remember, we had talked about getting together to discuss your idea for a startup internet business. Well, I'll be in town next week with my associate, James Fitzpatrick, and I was hoping we could arrange a meeting, maybe for dinner or cocktails or something. We arrive late Tuesday night and will be there for 3 days. We'll be tied up in meetings most of the day Wednesday and Thursday morning, but would have time Wednesday evening, Thursday afternoon, or most of the day Friday. I hope one of those times will work for you. Anyway, could you please call me on my cell when you get a chance? It's 881-555-6300. If you can't reach me, call my office at 881-503-2735 and leave a message with my secretary. Her name is Teresa Gunther. Thanks, Brad. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
The answer of the first question is Brad Thompson's is B. As you can hear before, Brad Thompson, this is Marcos Hernandez. Dia mengatakan bahwa, "Hi Brad Thompson, ini saya Marcos Hernandez." And for the last talks, he said that, "Thanks Brad, I look forward to hearing you. Bye." That the last clue that the message for to the Brad. The second question answers is C. Meeting for dinner or cocktails, because there is one menu or meals that we hear in the talks. Yes, meeting for dinner or cocktails. And the last question, the answer is D. Return the phone call. We can find it when here. Could you please call me on my cell when you get a chance? Let's move to the reading sections. To do well in this part, you should know the various parts of speech and how they are used to form a grammatically correct sentence. In particular, you must be careful of first, two-part phrasal verbs, incorrect use of prepositions, incorrectly placed adjective, incorrect word forms, incorrect grammatical tenses, incorrect transitions words such as however, furthermore, etc., and then incorrect conjunctions such as and, but, and etc. Let's take a look for the first question. The company that Mario Dubois started now sells blah 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 products throughout the world. Jawaban yang tepat untuk pertanyaan di atas adalah A. It's. Karena hal yang dibutuhkan untuk melengkapi blank space di sana itu adalah jenis pronoun possessive pronoun, yaitu it's atau theirs. Di sana sudah ada dua pilihan yang tergolong kepada possessive pronoun. Tapi kita kembali melihat dari subjeknya. Subjeknya adalah Mario Dubois, yaitu satu kalimat benda tunggal. Oleh karena itu, pilihan yang tepat adalah it's yang bermakna tunggal, sementara their yang artinya bermakna jamak atau mereka dalam bahasa Indonesia itu tidak tepat untuk melengkapi kalimat yang di atas yang bermakna singular. Nah, for the second question, Mr. Wang's trip will blah 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 him away for the office for 10 days. Jawaban yang benar adalah D. Keep. We have to know about the meaning of the vocabulary and increase our vocabulary and match it with the next sentence or the next phrasal verb in that sentences. And the keep word is the right answer and suitable with the sentence. Next to the third question. The hotel breakfast blah 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 fresh fruit juice and a choice of pastries. And the answer is A. Includes, because for build a sentence we need to one verb or one to be. And the hotel breakfast match with include is not to include, and including was include because it will match with the sentence. The hotel breakfast includes fresh fruit juice and a choice of pastries. And for text completions part, the strategies used here are similar in essence to those used for incomplete sentence above. The difference is that because the blanks you must fill in are part of longer pieces of writing, such as letters, you need to keep not only the grammatical aspect in mind but also the context and tone of the entire piece of writing. Now let's take a look for the example. As you can see, there is a letter to Miss Carson, and you have to fill the blank space in that text, not in sentences like incomplete sentence before, with the right grammar and the right word. First question, the answer is have received because it will match with the sentence because they're grammatically correct. And for the second question is set up or B options because it will be connected to your vocabulary, and you can, if you know much vocab, you can know how to answer this question if it tell about the vocabulary matched. And for the third questions, the answer is make because let's take a look to the sentence. We believe that our employees blah 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 as Number 1. Before the threat, we have to look to the subject. Our employees, that mean that is a plural word. So the third form that match is make. Why not makes? Because makes is suitable for I, you, she, he, it, that is singular person, and making is not correct because you say we believe that show hope, and it present tense it used in that sentence. Because the present tense, the answer D is not incorrect, because that is the past form, like did, make. For the reading comprehensions such as single passages and multiple passages, as in all reading comprehension exercise, a variety of skills are required to deduce the right answer. This includes skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and understanding vocabulary and context. You must be able to identify synonyms and implied informations. A clue is that the order of the questions follow the order to the information in the reading passage. This should save time when scanning for specific details. Make sure the answer you choose answers the question, as many of the answer choices may simply repeat information in the reading passage. Lastly, you might prefer reading the questions before skimming the passage. To give a better idea of what is to come, complete many practice Toeic reading exercise to familiarize yourself with common reading passage topics. Okay, there are two examples for reading comprehensions, one for single passages and one for multiple passages. You can see the differences of two types of part. For single passages, you will find 3 questions, 2 or 4 until 4 questions, and for multiple passages, you will find 5 questions with 2 texts. To solve or to answer the questions in the example, you have to do skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and understanding vocabulary in context. If you done with that step, you will be find the right answers. All my tips about listening and reading tips. Do practice tests under the test condition is the best way to increase your confidence and your knowledge in Toeic test. For me, that's all. How is the Toeic test score? The score you will receive are determined by the number of questions you answer correctly. The number of correct responses of each question, listening and reading, is converted to a number and a scale that you can see on the screen, and the statistic procedure of use to convert score to a common scale ensure the similar Toeic score indicate the similar level of English proficiency. There is no penalty for wrong answer. What do my scores mean? The best way to know what your score means is to compare them to those of people who are using English in their work, because the Toeic test can be applied to almost any international work situation where English is used. Scores have been linked to the particular position and or job function. The kind of work you perform now or will be performing in the future will determine the level of English you will need. Below are some real examples of the scores various company requires, such as in the Bangkok Food and Beverage Department staff that there are some regulation about the Toeic test. In France, a defense company in France takes score range representative of the level of English necessary for some typical position in Switzerland, and company in Japan and Venezuela because it's traveled off world. Okay, that's all my presentation. Thank you for watch and pay attention for my video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.